quick context before anything else. I work in tech, I've been around crypto for several years, and for the last chunk of that time, I've been specifically focused on one question. Can automated AI systems generate real consistent returns in crypto markets? Or is that mostly a sales pitch? And the answer, based on what I've actually seen running over the past several months, is more nuanced than most people present it as. So today, I'm putting a specific platform on screen, running a real session from scratch, and then walking through some things I've learned from my own process that I think cut through a lot of the noise out there. Straight into it. So here's the platform, and what I want to do is walk you through the setup from the very first click, not the summary version, the actual thing. So first configuration is trading pair, and the reason this list has this many options is structural. It's actively scanning 20 exchanges at the same time, and that concurrent coverage is what produces this range of available assets. Okay, wallet address field appears right after. So I'm pulling that up from my wallet. Okay, got it, copying the address. Coming back to the platform and pasting it here. Done. Next, I'm setting the working capital for this session, going with, yes, around that amount. That makes sense. Good. Then I want to spend a second on this configuration because most people just drag it somewhere without thinking about what it's actually controlling. It determines how much price ambiguity the system is willing to work with. At lower values, it only takes the cleanest setups, high confidence, tight spreads. At higher values, it starts operating in conditions with more uncertainty. I'm keeping mine somewhere deliberate, generating real activity without overreaching. Okay, then I configure the operational approach the AI locks into for this session, the framework it uses to find and close price gaps across those exchanges. Okay, all of it looks right. Moving next. Here, I've got several tokens available. There's no prep required on my end because the platform converts it automatically before anything starts. Just a moment. Okay, the system is running. Dashboard is up right here with all necessary info in real time. And for something running across this many markets at once, the layout is genuinely easy to read. Now we're just in the operational window. All right, session has completed, and this screen is the full record, duration, trade count, strategy that ran throughout, win rate, and the result figure sitting at the bottom with the platform commission already deducted. That bottom line is what I'm looking at. Tapping withdraw and waiting on that confirmation. It takes a few minutes to land, so I want to cover some ground while that happens. So I think it's worth actually explaining what just happened mechanically before I get into anything else, because most people treat the demo as the explanation, and it isn't. What this bot is doing is watching the price of the same coin across all exchanges simultaneously, every second without stopping. And the moment it finds that coin sitting at different prices across two different markets, it takes both sides of that trade almost instantly, buys where it's cheaper, sells where it's more expensive, pockets the difference. And the size of that difference almost doesn't matter. What matters is doing it fast enough that the window doesn't close before the trade executes. That's the problem AI solves here. These price gaps exist for fractions of a second. Human reaction time is nowhere close to that. The system is specifically built to operate at the speed where those gaps can actually be captured consistently. That's what makes this work. Okay, so over the past several years, I've built a fairly systematic process for evaluating crypto platforms. Not because I'm particularly cautious by nature, but because I've been caught out enough times to know what it costs not to have one. And inside that process, I've walked directly into a pretty significant number of fraudulent projects. The count is high enough that I've stopped finding it surprising. And what that means practically is that you can do everything right in terms of where you look for information and still end up standing in front of something fraudulent without knowing it. So here's the actual process I run when I'm evaluating something. I use the product the way a real user would, but with more attention than a real user usually brings. Every section, every feature, every setting across multiple sessions. Because the difference between a platform built to retain users and a platform built to extract money shows up in the product itself. Something with real intent behind it has a specific kind of internal logic. Features connect, functionality does what it says, the experience doesn't feel assembled from separate parts. And when that's missing, you pick it up through the interaction before you can articulate what specifically is off. Consistent platforms stay consistent when you change things on them. The ones that aren't, don't. That experience is the only data point that actually works. Thanks for watching.